So you're looking to buy or sell a home in the Nashville, Tennessee area? Well, today we're going to be showing you around Nolensville, Tennessee, which is a suburb of Nashville, about 25 miles or so southeast of downtown. We're going to drive you around a lot of the town, try to give you a good idea of what it might be like to live here, and also going to be pointing out some areas of new development that are going to have a significant impact on the town in the years to come. So you don't want to miss that. All right, let's get to it. If this is your first time on the channel and you'd like to get to know the Nashville, Tennessee area a little bit better, then subscribe below and tap the bell for notifications so you can be the first to get all the inside information on Nashville and the surrounding areas. My business partner and wife, Noelle, and myself help people just like you every single day buy and sell property in the Nashville, Tennessee area, and we absolutely love it. So whether you plan to move in 9 days or 9 months, give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email, or schedule a Zoom call and let us help make your Nashville move super smooth. All right, so first of all, I want to thank you very much for riding along with me today. I can't wait to show you around the town of Nolensville and help you find out if it's somewhere that you might like to live. So to get the video started, we're traveling south on Nolensville Rd. We're just past Concord Road and we are coming up on Burkett Road. We're not quite into Nolensville yet. Once we get past this next light at Burkett Road, all the properties on the left-hand side of the road will have Nolensville addresses. However, we still are in Davidson County at this point. Nolensville technically spans 3 counties. That's Williamson County, Davidson County, and Rutherford County. But the town of Nolensville, the incorporated town of Nolensville, is all in Williamson County, and that's primarily what we're going to be focused on today. So right now we're traveling past the Burkett developments. This is Burkett Place and Burkett Village, Burkett Commons, and most of the Burketts are in Davidson County, although there are a few houses right at the beginning of Burkett Place that are on the Williamson County line, as well as a few more down closer to Kidd Road. Okay, now we are fully into Williamson County, and as you can see, we got some undeveloped property on both sides of the road. The property to our left is zoned as CD4C, which stands for Character District 4C. This is a medium density neighborhood zoning that includes a mixture of residential and retail spaces. And there's no plans to develop this property right now, but when it is developed, this is the type of developments that we can expect to see. The property to the right is zoned as CD1, which is Character District 1. This is described as a natural zoning, and it allows for open spaces throughout Nolensville, including active and passive park districts. Right here, we're coming up on Kidd Road to the left. There are some major things going on in Kidd Road that we'll talk about later. And we're getting closer and closer to the actual town of Nolensville at this point. Coming up on a new retail shopping area. I actually haven't been in there. It's only been open, maybe a year, I'm not sure. Relatively new. Ace Hardware, have a bank on the left, and the next road is going to be Haley Industrial Drive. There's a Bluebell ice cream creamery down there, the South Point Community Church, my chiropractor, Dr. Tim, and also an ice skating rink. The next road to the right is Brittain Ln. There's several neighborhoods down that road that we'll be pointing out here in a bit. The Serenity Salt Cave to the right, which has been there for years. And we're about to get into the town of Nolensville. We're coming up on the Welcome to Nolensville sign, which we're passing right now on the right. To the left, there's a property being developed called Southwalk, which is a commercial mixed-use development that will also include about 20 residential units. And to the right, we got a strip mall coming up. There's some popular spots in here like West Coast Burgers and Dogs and Amico's Pizza. To the left, we have the Hilltop Shopping Center where you have Karaoke Asian Cuisine, Wings to Go, and Happen Chance Social Lounge, as well as the Nolensville House of Bread. The next neighborhood we're going to pass is called Nolensville Park. It's right there on the left. And the Rolling Hills Community Church is on the left as well. They have a brand new building. Mama Java's, which is a popular coffee and pastry spot, is to the left, as well as a Subway and a nail salon Got Advanced Auto Parts on the right in case your car breaks down. Just Love Cafe on the left. We also have Martin's Barbecue Joint on the right, which is probably the most famous Nolensville restaurant. It has expanded all across Nashville now. I think they have 6 or 7 locations, but the original was right here in Nolensville. The road to the left is Oldham Drive. The car wash is down there, and also the post office. We got a Sonic coming up on the left, and there's another area back behind Sonic with some more restaurants. The property to the right now is vacant, but this property is zoned to CD1, which is the natural zoning that we spoke about a few minutes ago. The reasoning is because this property is in a floodplain, so we really can't build anything on it anyways. Perhaps at some point it'll be a park or something. And a few quick facts about Nolensville. So Nolensville was established in 1797 by William Nolan. The population as of 2020 was 13,000 people, which was up 128% from 2010. The median household income is around $152,000, and 93% of the residents own their home versus renting. And over 50% of the adults in town are between the ages of 35 and 54 years of age. As we come up on the old historic school, which is where Nolensville has its farmers market every Saturday, we've also run into a little bit of traffic here. With all the growth that the Nashville area has seen over the last 10 years, you're pretty much going to run into traffic just about anywhere you go around the city at this point. And we're only about 25 miles away from downtown and where we are in Nolensville right now. So to the right, we're passing Sunset Road. We'll go down that road later on and talk some about it. To the left, we got the Nolensville Rec Center, which used to be an old school. They got pickleball there, basketball, a weight room, a swimming pool, lots of different dance classes and stuff. To the left, we got Stonebrook Boulevard that we're passing now that goes back into the Stonebrook neighborhood, and we're just getting into the historic district of Nolensville. Right now, we just passed the historic district sign on the right. Now, the next thing you'll see is a vacant parking lot. That's something that hopefully is going to be addressed in the near future. And at this point, a lot of the buildings that you're going to see were built in the 1800s. Many of them have been obviously restored, but some really popular spots like the Nolensville Amish Female that we're passing right now on the left, that building has been there since the 1800s. There's also several other little gift and antique shops sprinkled throughout the historic district here, as well as the Wabash Cafe on the right, which has got some pretty good food. We got the Nolensville Toy Shop on the right in that old historic house right there that we're passing, as well as the Nolensville First United Methodist Church on the left, which has been there since 1800s. And after that, coming up on the left, we have a new strip mall that has not been there since 1800s. In fact, it's only been a few years. A popular spot in there, Oh My Chives Sandwich Place, Barrel and Roll Ice Cream are some of the favorites. And our next road that we're coming up on is Rocky Fork Road and Clovercroft. If you go right, you take Clovercroft. If you make a left, you'll be on Rocky Fork. And now we're going to start getting to some of the really major developments. The first of which is on the left. This is Village Green. It's a public shopping center that also has shops that run alongside Nolensville Road and Rocky Fork Road. Also, all the land on both sides of the road here is zoned for CD4, which is Character District 4. This is a medium density mixed use zoning that includes sidewalks. So as this property is developed, we can expect to see sidewalks added to both sides of Nolensville Road. Next, we have the Main Street Village Overlay zoning, which runs along the right side of Nolensville Road and includes a main street that runs from about here all the way up to Clovercroft Road. Also has a town square. It's going to be a place that the town will use for parades and festivals and that type of thing. As again, it will be the highest density zoning in Nolensville. And now we're coming up on Summerlin Drive. Currently, you can only turn left on Summerlin Drive, but eventually it's going to get extended straight across, and there's going to be a new Kroger development going on. This is going to be a mixed use development with retail and about 200 residential units. The property to the left-hand side of the road right now is owned by the Summerlin HOA and will not be developed. But all the property that's on the right here, if it's not a part of the Kroger development, it is still zoned for CD4C. We're going to make a right now into Williams Road, which takes us over to Clovercroft Road. So all the property on the right is zoned for CD4C, which is the neighborhood corridor zoning that we spoke about earlier. All of this will eventually be developed. There's no plans for this area right here currently, but eventually it will be developed. All of this will include sidewalks. It will all be connected to the Kroger development, to the Village development, to the developments along Nolensville Rd, which will be connected to the Publix development, which will all be connected to the current historic district of Nolensville. The existing neighborhoods that are going to be closest vicinity to all these developments will be the Summerlin neighborhood, the Bent Creek neighborhood, and the Sherwood Green neighborhood. And it's my opinion that once these developments come into reality, it's going to completely transform Nolensville as we know it today and really help drive property prices in the area even higher than they are currently. As we come to the stop sign here at Clovercroft Rd, where we're going to be making a left. So yeah, home prices in Nolensville are still a little bit less than you're going to find in Franklin and Brentwood, Williamson County. For instance, over the last year, a 3-bedroom, 3-bath home in Nolensville for running around $799,000, whereas the same home in Franklin would be around $895,000, and the same size home in Brentwood would be around $1.1 million. So still a great value for home prices here in Nolensville compared to the rest of Williamson County. And we'll get right back to home prices. Right now, we are coming up on the Burke Hollow Road, which we're not going to go down today. And we're also to the right, we have one of the entrances to the Bent Creek neighborhood that we're passing right now. Bent Creek is the largest subdivision in Nolensville. So we are headed west right now on Clovercroft Rd. I wanted to drive you out to the far western side of town to show you the location of another upcoming development. Before we get there, we will be passing a couple of more neighborhoods. So I'll be sure to point those out when we get to them. So yeah, the average sales price for homes in Nolensville, Williamson County over the last 12 months was just under $944,000. And the median home age in Nolensville is 15 years. So we got a lot of new development, a lot of new homes. So that median age there just 15 years. Okay, so we're getting close to the next neighborhood, which is going to be the farm at Clovercroft. It's coming up on the left, about to pass the entrance to the neighborhood right now. So the farm is not actually incorporated into the town of Nolensville, which is a little bit strange because it is surrounded by neighborhoods that are incorporated, but for some reason it's not. So we're heading up this little treacherous area here of Clovercroft, which hopefully they're going to be making some road improvements over the next few years to help make this area a little bit safer. But the next neighborhood we have is going to be on the right. This is Scales Farmstead. We're passing one entrance here. We're going to go up this hill, and there is actually another entrance on the right as well at the top of this hill. We do have some new homes being built on the left. These are not a part of any new neighborhood or development. These are just individual parcels of land that have new houses built on them. But the next neighborhood that I wanted to talk about is a new development that has not broke ground yet. It's going to be called Four Springs and will be directly across the street from Scales Farmstead to our left. The developed property will span 216 acres and will include 288 residential units. 107 of those will be townhome units, which are highlighted in yellow on the graphic on your screen. 45 will be small lot villas, which are highlighted in blue, and then 136 single-family residential lots, which are highlighted in the green. And some of those residential lots are estate lots, which will span over an acre in size. The development also includes 70 acres at the back of the property in an area known as Potato Hill. This property is going to be donated to the town of Nolensville. It will include a parking lot as well as nature trails, which are outlined in pink on the graphic on your screen. So this is really exciting, and in my opinion, this is going to be a wonderful addition to the town of Nolensville in the years to come. So now we've got well outside the western boundary of town, so we're going to get the car turned around and head back the other direction. Okay, so now we're heading eastbound on Clovercroft Road. We're coming back up to Williams Road, which is on the right. This is where we made the initial left-handed turn onto Clovercroft a few minutes ago. And to the right, we have some land that hasn't been developed yet. Most of this property is zoned for either CD3 or CD3L, which are neighborhood zonings, a little bit lower density. They are intended to provide kind of a transition into the higher density village areas that we spoke about earlier. On the left-hand side of the road, we do have portions of the Bent Creek neighborhood. So all the houses on the left are part of Bent Creek. And as soon as we get past these last few houses on the left, we'll be coming up on Old Clovercroft Drive, which is also on the left, followed by the Nolensville Cemetery. On our right will be the north entrance to the Main Street Village. The north connection to Clovercroft Road will be right here to the right. And all this property on the right will be developed into the Main Street Village overlay, which will include a mixture of retail and residential and sidewalks as we come to the light at Nolensville Rd. And we're going to go straight across Nolensville Rd, and here the road's going to change from Clovercroft Rd into Rocky Fork Rd. And the property to the right is going to be the Publix development that we mentioned earlier. This part of Rocky Fork Rd will be lined with shops and sidewalks, and there are plans to extend the Nolensville trail system to connect to the Publix, which will connect up here across the street from Nolensville Elementary, which you can kind of start to see coming up into the distance ahead of us. There's also a Rocky Fork Road corridor study going on right now that is going to eventually change the look and feel of Rocky Fork Road through this area, all the way down to the Rock Springs Road intersection as we are going across the crosswalk leading to Nolensville Elementary via the Nolensville Trail System. And to the right, we're passing the Sherwood Green Estates neighborhood. So yeah, that Rocky Fork Road corridor is going to include this whole part of Rocky Fork Road. They're talking about widening the lanes, adding turn lanes, extending the trail system all the way down to Rocky Fork Road to connect to some of the upcoming neighborhoods. And the property on both sides of the road right now does have some houses on it. This property is zoned as CD3L. This is a very low density zoning. I think it's a half dwelling unit per acre. So while this property on both sides of the road could eventually be developed, it will not be developed into a dense neighborhood. Now the next neighborhood we got coming up is going to be Lock Ridge on the left, and on the right we have the Whitmore neighborhood. These are two relatively newer neighborhoods in town. And we're also coming up on the Burberry Glen neighborhood, which will be on the left, and Nolan Mead, which is on the right. And now on the right, we have the Silver Stream neighborhood. Silver Stream is another one of the neighborhoods that's not actually incorporated into the town of Nolensville. So while they do have Nolensville addresses, residents of Silver Stream cannot vote in local elections and do not have priority access to emergency services. And now we're coming up onto the Rock Springs Road intersection, which will be on the left, and we do have the entrance to Silver Stream right here on the right. And this is also another area that could be affected by the Rocky Fork Road corridor study. As you can see from the graphic on the screen, there is a proposed roundabout right here where we're making this left onto Rock Springs Road. So now we're on the far eastern side of town, and there's another major development over here that I wanted to talk to you about. We'll be getting to it in a few minutes. Right now we're traveling eastbound on Rock Springs Road. We're coming up on Fly Road. That's F-L-Y, Fly Road. We're going to be making a left on the Fly Road. And if we were to keep going straight, we would really quickly end up in Rutherford County and Smyrna, which is only about 5 minutes down the road. And there's a Super Target, a Home Depot, a Lowe's, lots of restaurants. So it's just another element that makes Nolensville really conveniently located. And on the left right here, we have the second entrance to the Brittain Ln neighborhood. Brittain Ln has two entrances, one on Rocky Fork and one here on Fly Road. And starting right about here is the area I really wanted to show you. From on the left-hand side of the road all the way up to McFarlin Rd, we have a 373-acre parcel of property. This property is going to be developed by a company called Southern Land Company, who developed West Haven and Franklin. If you're not familiar with West Haven, I highly encourage you to check it out. They will be building something very similar here in Nolensville called Storyville. And while it'll be similar, it will still be very unique for Nolensville. It's going to be 735 residential units, over 15,000 square feet of commercial space. It is going to include an elementary school, as well as trails to connect to the existing Nolensville trail system. Again, this is a massive project. They've been talking about it for 2 or 3 years now, and it is expected to take 10 years to complete. I believe there are about 10 phases, and they just broke ground on phase 1, which is off McFarlin Road. So we'll be able to see that area here in just a minute once we make this left onto McFarlin at the stop sign ahead. So this is a really exciting development for Nolensville. It's going to add a lot more homes, so of course we're going to need to see some road improvements being made in this area as well, which are a part of the development plan. So that's a good thing. Okay, so now we're making a left onto McFarlin Road. And on the left, you can see some orange markers there off in the distance. This is all a part of the site. If I'm not mistaken, I think that's going to be probably phase 2 or phase 3 right there. Phase 1 is directly ahead of us. That's where they got the heavy machinery already developing the property. And I imagine it won't be too much longer before we see the first new construction homes coming on the market for this development. And we're not done with this area. So right next door to the Storyville development is another huge development. This is going to be called McFarlin. It's being developed by Goodall Homes. This is 296 acres, so another huge tract of land, and it will be developed into 444 residential units. So between the two, we have well over 1,000 new homes, new residential units coming to Nolensville right here in this area off of Fly Road, McFarlin Road, and the Kid Road area. So this is going to be a major area over the next 10 years. Lots of stuff going on here. And this also concludes all of the new major developments that I wanted to share with you in today's video. But we're not done. We still have several areas of Nolensville to check out. As we're about to make a left right now onto Kid Road, and we'll be traveling westbound back towards Nolensville Road. But I should also add that most of all of these new developments, whether it be Publix, Kroger, Village, Four Springs, Storyville, or McFarlin, all of them have been met with some degree of opposition, as there are a lot of people who live in Nolensville who've been here for a long time and do not necessarily want to see the town grow any more than it is now. But where there is demand, there is going to be new development to meet that demand. So that's all that we're seeing here. And okay, so the next road that we're coming up on will be on the left. This is going to be Baronswood Drive. This takes us back to the McFarlin Wood subdivision and the Stonebrook subdivisions. Stonebrook is the oldest neighborhood in Nolensville, has a lot of one-story homes and larger lots. I do have a whole separate video on Stonebrook that is either out already or will be out soon, depending upon when you're watching this. So you can check that out if you'd like more information on that neighborhood. For now, we're going to stick to Kidd Road until it takes us back out to Nolensville Road. The next neighborhood that we will be coming up on will be on the right-hand side of the road, and it is going to be Burkett Village. It's part of the Burkett developments that we mentioned at the very beginning of the video. And Burkett Village is divided into both Williamson County and Davidson County, as we're coming up on the entrance right now to the right. So the southern part of the neighborhood will be in Williamson County, and the northern section will be in Davidson County. The prices that we showed on the screen are reflective of both counties combined. And the next neighborhood will be Whitney Park, which does connect into the Burkett developments, but it is solely in Williamson County. We should be coming up on that entrance pretty soon on the right, and here we are. Again, that is Whitney Park. And the next road that we'll get to will be Nolensville Road. And you've probably noticed that right here we have what looks like farmland on both sides of the road. But from this point all the way to Nolensville Road, we do have that CD4C, which is the neighborhood corridor zoning that we spoke about a couple of times already. So there is a good chance that at some point in time in the future, all this property on both sides of the road will be developed into something other than farmland. Okay, and now we are coming up to the stop sign at Kidd Road and Nolensville Road. We're going to be making a left on the Nolensville Road, but we're going to skip ahead just a little bit, and we're going to go up to Brittain Ln, which is a road we have not seen so far. And there are a few neighborhoods down there that we want to point out. So let's go. Okay, and now we are coming up on Brittain Ln on the right. As I mentioned, there's a few neighborhoods down this road that we wanted to point out. The first one will be Brittain Downs, which has an entrance both on Brittain Ln and on Sunset Road. We will also point out the entrance on Sunset Road in just a moment. But we are coming up on that entrance to Brittain Downs. It's going to be on the left, right about here. I do have a video on Brittain Downs if you're interested. Please check it out. And the next neighborhood that we'll be coming up on will be on the right. This neighborhood is called Catalina. And as soon as we get past Catalina, Brittain Ln, which we're driving on right now, is going to turn into Maxwell Ln. So that's just something to point out as well. Also have a video for Catalina that you can check out. And that entrance is right here to the right. There's also a new neighborhood called Pasadena that's being built behind Catalina, which has about 41 homes. The next neighborhood is King's Barn, which is to the right. To the right of us right now, there's the entrance. That's King's Barn. And of course, we are now traveling on Maxwell Ln. And the next neighborhood that we'll get to, it is called Hadley Reserve. It's a really small neighborhood. It's got only about 8 or 9 houses, I believe. And it is a gated community, which it is currently the only gated community in Nolensville. And that entrance is on the left, right here. So that's Hadley Reserve. And the last neighborhood we want to call out on Maxwell Lane, this is on the left, and it's called Dillon Woods. And after Dillon Woods, we will be coming up to a stop sign at Waller Road. We'll be making a left on the Waller Road, which will take us down to Sunset Road. If we were to take a right, we would go to Concord Road in Brentwood. So at this point, everything on the left of us is in Nolensville, and everything on the right-hand side of the road is Brentwood. We don't have any more Nolensville neighborhoods on this road. All the neighborhoods will be on the right-hand side of the road in Brentwood. And so what are some of the pros and cons of living in Nolensville? Well, as you can see, it's still a very small town, only about 15,000 residents, so we still have very much a rural country vibe. Yet we're still a part of the greater Nashville area, so we get all the opportunities and advantages that you get with living in a big city, only about 25 miles or so away from downtown. You may know that Nashville has a vast music culture, which is not just limited to country music. Nashville also has a booming economy. Just recently, Business Insider put out an article saying that Nashville was one of 4 cities that are going to lead the U.S. economy into the future. Okay, so we're passing some new houses right now on the left. These are just individual parcels of land that have new houses built on them. And we're coming up to the stop sign at Sunset Road. If we were to make a right, we would go into Brentwood. The Governor's Club is down that way, and Dolly Parton's house is not too far away as well. But we're going to make a left. We're going to head back towards Nolensville. And the next pro of being a part of the greater Nashville area is that Nashville is also a foodie town. It's the original home of the Meat and Threes, Nashville Hot Chicken, and barbecue. We already talked about Martin's, but you can easily find great food in pretty much any cuisine. The next pro of living in Nashville is professional sports. So we have the Tennessee Titans, who are getting ready to build a new state-of-the-art facility, stadium right now that's going to make Nashville eligible for Super Bowls, Final Four, other major events. But right now I want to point out that to the left we have the Nolensville Convenience Center. This is where you can take things that you want to dispose of and recycling. The next neighborhood we have coming up will be Sunset Park, which will be on the left right here. And then after that, we're going to have the second entrance to Brittain Ln, which I mentioned earlier was on Sunset Road, and we're coming up on that entrance right now. So yeah, back to Major League Sports. You know, we got the Titans. Nashville has a Major League Soccer with the Nashville Soccer Club, Nashville Predators Hockey, Formula One racing, as we're passing the Bennington neighborhood now on the right. And the next neighborhood will be Winterset Woods, which will also be on the right. So yeah, major sports, there's a NASCAR racetrack out in Lebanon where they have a NASCAR race. So those are all pros of being a part of the greater Nashville area. And of course, being a part of the Nashville area is our #1 pro of living in Nolensville. So living in Nolensville really is just like a part of living in Nashville. So next we have coming up on our left, we have Sunset Elementary and Sunset Middle Schools. Passing over the crosswalk right here. You can also see the Nolensville Trail System to the right, which is another one of our pros of living in Nolensville. There is an ever-expanding network of trails that's officially known as the Nolensville Trail System that connects the town's neighborhoods, parks, and schools. And the next neighborhood we're going to be coming to is a new neighborhood called Sinatra. It's being built by Turnberry Homes. Absolutely stunning homes in this neighborhood. It's on our right. We're passing it right now. Another pro of living in Nolensville is central location. Just minutes from I-24 to the east, got I-65 to the west and I-840 to the south. And the next neighborhood we're coming to is Nolensnville. This is a combination of single family homes as well as an active adult 55+ community, which is one of 2 active adult communities in Nolensville. The other one's over in Bent Creek, and we'll be driving by that one here in just a few minutes. And now we're coming up to the red light at Sunset Road and Nolensville Road, which we went through earlier when we were heading south on Nolensville Road. We got the Nolensville Rec Center right in front of us and the old school and ball fields to the left. And we're going to make a right on Nolensville Road. And then we'll jump ahead just a bit and we'll be making a right onto Old Clovercroft Road. We passed by this area earlier. We got the Nolensville Toy Shop on the left. To the right, we got Itty Bitty Donuts and Specialty Coffee. The mural from the very beginning of the video is on the back of their coffee building there. And we're going to come up, we're going to make the next right on the Sam Donald Road. To the right, we're passing the Nolensville Primrose School, which is a private kindergarten. And now we're making the right on the Sam Donald, and to the left we have the Bent Creek Active Adult 55 Plus community. It's still a part of the Bent Creek neighborhood, gets to enjoy all the same amenities, but it's got its own little separate area there. And the next neighborhood that we're going to come up on will be on the right. It'll be the second entrance to Nolensville. We just mentioned Nolensville when we were coming down Sunset Road. They also have a second entrance on Sam Donald Road. And now we're crossing over the Nolensville Trail System. To the left, we have the cottages of Bent Creek, which is still a part of the Bent Creek neighborhood, but it's just a separate area, a little bit smaller cottage homes. And now on the left, all the houses on the left are a part of the main Bent Creek neighborhood. There are a couple of entrances here on Sam Donald Road. The first one's coming up right here on the left. And then just a little bit further down, there will be another Bent Creek entrance on our left. So this is Sam Donald Road. It connects in between Nolensville and Brentwood. This takes you up to Split Log Road, which is, here's that second entrance of Bent Creek. So it takes you up to Split Log Road, which is where Jordan Elementary is. So some of these neighborhoods in Nolensville are zoned to Jordan Elementary, and this is how you would get there. But the next neighborhood that we do want to point out, and the last neighborhood on this side of town, is going to be Brooks Bank Estates. But before we get there, let's circle back around to the pros and cons of living in Nolensville. And the last pro I wanted to talk about is the potential for upside in real estate values. And while I don't have a crystal ball, I do feel very strongly that with all the new developments that we've already discussed, like the Village Center, the Publix, and the Kroger, these developments are really going to transform Nolensville over the next 5 to 10 years, and property prices are only going to keep going higher and higher. That's just my opinion. And so also, what are the cons of Nolensville? Well, with all this new development and everything, there are some growing pains. There's the discussion of what's more important, roads or neighborhoods, which comes first. You know, we got a lot of traffic on the roads already, so how do we deal with that? There's also a lot of people in town who have been here for a long time, and they don't want to see Nolensville grow anymore, which is understandable, but as I've mentioned, where there's demand, there will be growth. It's pretty much inevitable. As we come up on the entrance to Brooks Bank Estates right here on the right, and with that, we pretty much are outside of the Nolensville town limits on the west side, so we need to get the car turned around and head back towards the town of Nolensville. And now we're at the light at Nolensville Road and Clovercroft Road. We're going to make a left. We're going to be heading now north on Nolensville Road. We've already been through here at the beginning of the video when we were heading south, so I'm not really going to be pointing anything out at this point. But just past the church here, we're going to be making the next right onto Nolensville Park Road. And you might have guessed that the reason why it's called Nolensville Park Road is, well, because Nolensville Park is on it. And it's straight ahead, starting to come into view. To the right, we have some pasture land that's zone CD1, so that will stay the natural zoning. And this is Nolensville Park. We got a football field. This is where the kids play flag football on the weekends, and we got softball and baseball fields, which are right in front of us. There you can see the playground area. There's also a track that runs around with mile markers, so you can track how far you're walking. And the bridge over to the far right leads into the historic district of downtown. And right in front of us, we have the Bart Park. So yeah, this is Nolensville Park, and it sometimes it's a really busy place. Not so much right now. And we're going to come back to Nolensville Park Road. We're going to make a left. And this is going to take us to Newsom Lane, directly across the street from Nolensville Elementary. And we did drive through this area a little bit earlier when we were on Rocky Fork Road, which you can see over to the right. And we were talking about the Rocky Fork Road corridor. So now we're coming up on Newsom Lane at the stop sign. We got Nolensville Elementary right in front of us. We're going to make a right on Newsom, then we're going to make a left onto Clovercroft, and we're going to skip down a little bit. Now we're coming up onto the intersection of Rock Springs Road. We took the left earlier and went to Fly Road, but this time we're going to go straight. So the neighborhood on the right is a part of the Silver Stream neighborhood, which we did talk about a little bit earlier. But the main reason we're going this direction this time is we want to take you out to the far eastern side of the town limits. We got a few more neighborhoods to point out before we wrap up the video. And the next neighborhood that we're going to be talking about is called Annecy. It's on the right. This is a new neighborhood. It's not finished yet. They're getting close, but it's not finished. They're probably about 90% built out, if I had to take a guess. Not going to get into a lot of details on Annecy in this video. Once the neighborhood is complete, I will have a dedicated video. But for now, we're just going to take you down a little bit of Annecy Parkway, show you some of this side, and now we've jumped over. This is the far side, or the south side of Annecy Parkway. Lots of beautiful homes in the neighborhood, as you can probably tell. And we are coming up at a stop sign. This is going to be York Road. And we're going to be making a right on the York Road, headed back towards Nolensville Road. This is where you really get that rural country, small town feel, at least for the time being. As I said, we got a couple more neighborhoods now to point out. The next neighborhood is going to be the Telfair neighborhood. And Telfair is going to be coming up on the left. You can start to see some of the houses of the neighborhood coming into view. And here's that entrance that we're passing right now. And up ahead we have Mill Creek Elementary and Mill Creek Middle Schools. Which brings me to my final con of living in Nolensville, which is school rezonings. With all the development, all the new neighborhoods, and all the new schools we've had built over the last 10 years, it seems like every 2 or 3 years we're having neighborhoods that are being rezoned to different schools. So that's just something to be aware of. Safest bet is to live in a neighborhood that's really close to schools, like Telfair, which is right across the street from this campus, or the Summerlin neighborhood, which actually connects into these school campuses that we'll be checking out in just a bit. So we do have Mill Creek Middle and Mill Creek Elementary schools to our right, and directly ahead we have Nolensville High School. These schools were all built in 2015 and held their first classes in 2016, I believe. And so now we're going to make a left onto Summerlin Drive, which runs in front of the high school. And this is going to take us into the Summerlin neighborhood, which is the last neighborhood that we will be talking about on today's video. So Summerlin Drive runs straight through the neighborhood. We have two different sides to Summerlin. The north side, which is on our right, was built by the Jones Company. And the south side, which is on our left, was built by Drees. Both are local home builders, which have built a lot of homes in different neighborhoods in this area of Middle Tennessee. I do have a whole separate video on Summerlin. If you're interested, please check it out. And this road is going to take us to a red light at Nolensville Rd. This is the light that we mentioned earlier that will eventually, the road will be extended straight across Nolensville Road into the Kroger and Village District developments. So not only is Summerlin really convenient to the schools, it's also going to be super convenient to the new grocery stores and the village area. So now we're back at Nolensville Road. We just made another big circle around town. And that pretty much is going to wrap up the driving tour of Nolensville. All right, and this concludes our tour of the town of Nolensville in Williamson County, Tennessee. If you found value in today's video, please hit that like button below. It really helps us out. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel and tap the bell for notifications. Finally, my name is Matthew, and whether you plan to move in 9 days or 9 months, give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email, or schedule a Zoom call, and let us help make your Nashville move super smooth. Talk soon.